Hi everyone, I'm Lynn from Finds of Yesterday, and today we're doing a video on the best sales from November and December of 2020. If you're new to this channel and you want to start reselling and you're looking for items to sell, then watch this video because it's going to cover all the sales that were over $50, and hopefully this will help you when you're out thrifting and you can find these great items as well. So let's just jump right in and see what's sold. All right, let's get started. These are the top 25 items that sold in November and December in my eBay store and one in Macari. And they're going to be with the shipping included price. So the average price is $50 on each of these sales. But I will give you the net profit that I actually made on each particular item. And that ranges from $20 to almost $200. So let's just get started with the month of December. We're starting from December and then we're going back to November. So this is the lowest priced one in December. This is an antique rosary and celluloid prayer book. And it came with this little pocket that had a rosary in it, which I was really excited about when I got home. I paid $1 for it, and they're all in at $56. They did pay the $49.95, but my profit on this one after eBay fees and shipping is $43.48. This next one is a brass. It's actually a painted brass, which I think we prefer brass, but this one happened to be painted, and I had two of them, and they both sold. And this one sold for $34.97 on sale, and they were all in at $59.35. I did have to disassemble it to make it easier to ship, and the profit on this is $36.14. I always pick up these Victorian looking cherub brass sconces, figurines, candle holders, that type of thing. They always sell, and they sell well for me, usually over $20 on up. So I never pass them up. Here's another brass piece, which is three bells. It's called a shopkeeper's bell door chime. It mounts to the wall, and this one I paid $1 for it, and it did sell for the $49.95, and they're all in at $60.85. My profit is $41.55 on this item. This next one is a men's vintage robe, and it's from the 1940s. It was brand new old stock is what they call it. As you can see, the label here is vintage, and it is really nice piece. Genuine beacon. I'm not sure what that means, but it's acetate and cotton. And it was a bigger size, so it was nice. It didn't have the belt, but it still sold for $49.95. They're all in at $60.85, and my profit on this was $43.44 because I only paid $1 for it, and that was with an online auction, and I got a lot of new old stock clothes. Don't ever pass up Pottery Barn items, because this is a comforter and two shams I got at a thrift store for $9.50, and it sold for $39.95, and they're all in at $62.45. My profit on this is $27.42, and I just packed it in a poly mailer and shipped it out. This next one is a vintage pair of men's shoes called Robe. You probably won't find this brand anymore. It was stocked at a general store in our local area, and then this lady bought out all the shoes from the store, and then she had them on her yard sale, and I bought these for $3 a piece, bought a whole bunch of her shoes, and they sold for $49.95. It did take a while to sell them, but I sold a lot of the canvas tennis shoes first, but these leather ones have been sitting a little longer. They're all in at $62.45, and my profit on this was $27.42. This next one, you've got to look plush up, because I pulled these out of the bin, knew nothing about them. It was at Goodwill, and I thought the one had a tag on it, and I thought they all kind of looked similar, and I noticed that they all had tags. So they were a grouping that go with a particular book, which is called the Mo Willems plush book. And it's mostly about a pigeon. And they didn't, I hunted and hunted for the pigeon and couldn't find it in the bin. But I did end up selling these for $59.95. They were all in at $68.65. My profit on these is $47.44 for 4 plush, and I just put them in a poly mailer. The problem with this one is they never did reach their destination. It was in December, and USPS refunded my money on them, and I don't think the lady ever got them. This next one is a Russian doll. It's linden wood, which is a very strong wood. Anyway, this linden wood is, they made these little sculptures out of linden wood, and they're very ornate and very well done, and then they glaze over them. I knew nothing about these when I seen them on the shelf, and there was a grouping of them, and I thought they looked really nice. When you don't see these very often on the shelf. So if you see something like this, pick it up, look on the bottom, see if it's signed, and this one was signed by the artist. The bottom of the feet, can't really read much of it because it was Russian, but I knew it had value, and I paid $5 a piece for these. This one sold for $59.95 on a best offer, and they were all in at $68.65. So my profit on this was $47.44. So never pass up anything different, unique, and intriguing. I thought it looked different, so I had to check it out. And here's another version of it. Look at how detailed it is and intricate, painted, hand painted it is. It's just a lovely piece. This one was probably twice as big as the little boy. And this one sold for $65, and they were all in at $78.65. And my profit on this was $50.73. So always pick up pieces that are unique. This is a Pentax camera that my friend gave me. She said since it was a film camera, they just never used it anymore. And I sold it for $69.95. They're all in at $90.75. My profit on this was $58.92. So never refuse something somebody wants to give you. It's always pure profit then. And this next one is a Brahmin, I guess I'm saying it right, Brahmin leather shoulder bag, and I got this as an estate sale with a lot of other purses. Sometimes you can get a better deal if you ask if can I buy all the purses, and they say sure, what would you give me for it? Because when I did that, she said, I let her throw out the price first, then I can always negotiate. But she said $15, and this one was in there plus other name brand Dooney and Bork, and there was some other, there was an Anne Klein that was in really nice shape. I couldn't pass it up for $15 for all of them. So I really paid maybe about $3 for this one. They are all in at $90.90. My profit on this was $64.75. Now this last one for December is the highest value one, and it's called the Value Books. It is a lot of 19, and they are some really great books. They're to teach children about caring and giving and understanding and kindness. If I had grandchildren, I would definitely have these in my house because they are fabulous books. This one sold for $134.95, and that was with free shipping, and I only paid $8 for the whole set at a book sale for them. So if you're ever out and about and you see these, pick them up. Whether you can only find 4 or 6 or 8 of them at one time, pick them up, because you never know when you're going to see more of them. You can always sell 4 at a time or 8 at a time. They still sell, but this isn't the whole set. I don't think. I think I'm missing some. So that was a great find. So next we're going into November. So this is a Thomas Piccone Christmas garland. These are hand blown pieces. Each one of these is glass. Even the beads are all glass. And it had one broken piece. And here I have it right here. I told the lady I wanted to make sure she understood that there was one broken piece, and I sold this one on Mercari. and the lady was extremely happy with them when she got them. I paid $3 for this set at a rummage sale, a holiday rummage sale, and the tag's still on it right there. But you can't pass this stuff up. If you see that it's hand blown, it's usually going to get you a good return. And you see something like this Garland, that's hand blown, that's really unique. Look it up. It sold for $50 and she paid shipping on it. So my profit on this was $40.25. It was a great sale. This next one is a quilt. We all know quilts are worth something if they're handmade, hand stitched. This was more like a throw because it wasn't very big. It was a twin size and it was a little bit ratty. It just had, I mean, it wasn't tore, I don't think, but it had some thinness to it and spots, which a lot of the old vintage ones do. But she still bought it for, I think it was a best offer for $40. And I paid $15 for it at a yard sale. They were all in at $50.55, and my profit on it was $20.39. Wasn't a huge profit, but it was still well worth it. So any quilts that you know are hand stitched, you can see here if they're hand stitched or not. See how the white stitching is not spaced evenly like your clothes you buy from a store. You can tell that somebody hand stitched this because nothing's consistent. Hand stitched means it's worth more money. The bigger means it's worth more money. The more detailed and intricate the design is, the more money. This next one's a Monopoly Empire board game. I wouldn't pick up just any Monopoly game, but I did pick this one up because Empire, I knew the Empire version of this was worth more. So this one I paid $4.35 for at a thrift store, and it sold for $39.95. They're all in at $56.85. And my profit on this was $31.78. Not too shabby for a $4 investment. Next one is a scrapbook. So this scrapbook happened to have old vintage Valentines in it from the 50s and 60s. So it also had other things like stickers and cutouts from cards and drawings from St. Louis. I think these are copies of drawings from St. Louis buildings. So it had some really interesting things in it, but it wasn't all Valentines. But with the Valentines in it, I feel that made it more valuable because it was the first of the scrapbooks that I sold. And I bought them in an online auction, and that sold for $49.95, and they're all in at $60.50. My profit on this book was $40.86. Well worth the purchase. Paid for all the books plus. This next one's a Cuisinart knife set, and it came in a metal locking case to keep the kids out. And I paid $1 for it in an online auction. It came with a lot of other stuff, which I found out it's not too bad a price for Cuisinart. I sold it for $49.95. They're all in at $60.50, and it got sent in internationally. The guy did not want the case because it was going to make it so heavy and expensive. So he ended up just paying $15 for me to ship it to Kentucky, plus his cost to get to wherever he was. And my profit on this is $39.60. Next item is excuse me. This next item is a Reindeer Pair. It's real heavy and sparkly gold Christmas decorations. This was actually missing one red stone and had a little break in one of the antlers, one of the swirls. You can see right on this one that one of the swirls is broke off. Yet I disclosed that in the listing, and they're still gorgeous, and you can't hardly tell just because there's so much intricacy to these. They still were happy with them. I paid $5 for it. It sold for $49.95. and they're all in at $65. And my profit on this was $34.48. This next item is 2 Margarita glasses. It actually is 2 sets of 2. So I sold 4 Margarita glasses. These are hand blown. Not just any Margarita glass is going to sell for this, but these are hand blown with the confetti in them. So that made them worth a lot more. And I was very worried about shipping them, but I bubble wrap them real good and put them in separate boxes. And then I put them boxes in one bigger box and then bubble wrap around that, or put paper around the boxes. So it's shipped nice and snug and protected. And I bought these for $14 on an online auction, and they sold for $41.94. They were all in at $66.14, and my profit was about $30 on these. This next one's a Saytek flight stick and joystick and a throttle, plus the games. So I got this whole set at a yard sale for $5. It's a computer game, which it was a lot of fun. Me and my husband played it for a little while, and then we just quit playing it. So it was time to sell it. We had to mess around with it first to make sure it was working properly. I sold it for $65 on best offer, and they were all in at $93.95, and I made a profit of $55.65 on this. This next item is a Homac security gun safe, and I bought this at a yard sale for $10, and it sold for $69.95. They're all in at $99.80 because it was really heavy. My profit was $50.71. Now, I wouldn't have bought this if I couldn't get into it. Would be no use in buying a safe that you can't get into. They just toss them once the key is lost. This one has a security code thing on it, but you have to have a working battery inside of it to actually make it function. I could get into it, and I sent it the same way. I put the book kind of in the opening to keep it from closing completely, so the person wouldn't have any problem if the battery happened to go dead when it was being shipped. Always make sure you can get into the safe before you buy them, but it was a pretty good profit on that item. This is stuff I love to buy. It's candelabras, brass candelabras. This one, as you can see, is all brass. I bought it at a church rummage sale in crystal. These crystals were iridescent. I've seen these so many times, but never seen iridescent crystals on them. You can see it in this picture. They were just so colorful, and everything was brass and glass on this one, and it was well worth $10, but I ended up selling this for $89.95, and they are all in at $113.08 because I take the crystals off when I ship them and wrap them in tissue paper individually so they're not scratching against each other. I'm very particular with these, but some of these will come with plastic on them, like up on the upper, the drip trays will be plastic, or it'll have a base that's plastic. They don't sell for near as much, which I've had one recently that sold for around $20, $22, I think. And these ones that are brass will always bring you decent money, even if they're new compared to old. The old ones obviously do better, but the newer ones still sell. Don't pass up candelabras, and they're fairly easy to ship because they're pretty solid. I have had one get bent one time a long time ago, and I learned my lesson on how to ship them. So you still have to be careful how you pack them, but they're not that breakable. So don't pass them up if you see them. And the profit on this one, I don't think I said that, was $71 for a $10 investment. Pretty good. This last one is my best sale of the 2 months, and it was a fluke, basically. I bought a whole bunch of train stuff, and I probably paid $1 for this piece, and I was pulling pieces out of the train stuff, looking them up individually. Always buy train stuff, especially when it's vintage stuff, not the new plastic big trains that go around the Christmas tree. They might do well, might do okay, but the old vintage ones always do well. I did well on every piece that was in this set, and I paid 40 or 43 or 45, somewhere around there, for about 6 boxes of train stuff. And when I pulled this out and looked it up, I had to keep looking it up over and over again to make sure I had the right piece, to make sure I was looking at the right colored piece to see if it was the actual one that was selling for this much. And sure enough, it was. So I put it up on auction, and it did end up selling for almost the exact price that the other ones were selling for. So $224 is what it ended on the auction, and they're all in at $232.97. My profit on this was $197.66. Now, I also had 2 other items that for some reason won't come up, and it's these won't pull up the listing on eBay for some reason, but this is 4 Mario World games, Super Nintendo games, that is Mario World, All Stars, Yoshi's Island, and Time Machine, all Super Mario. No, they sold for $50 on best offer, and my profit on these was $40.69. Now, I did get the console with it that sold as well. I couldn't get it to work. I couldn't get the games to work, but the light came on the machine. But I disclosed all this, and I ended up paying like $5 a piece for both this and the other games. And this one sold for $45 on best offer, and they were all in at $66.85. So my profit on this one was $41, and it didn't work, or I couldn't get it to work. It could have just needed a little bit of work. It might have been the operator, I don't know, but I still sold both of them and profited $40. So even if you don't know something, look it up and disclose everything. So that is the 25 best items for me for November and December. I hope if you're a new reseller that this might have inspired you to go out looking for some stuff or find stuff around your home to get started, or if it just helped you in general as a reseller to look for different types of items. Please like this video and subscribe, and then you'll be notified when the next one comes out. And I hope that you have a great day, and I will see you in the next one.